Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. Welcome to Hollywood After Dark, July 3rd edition. We're talking about Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 spoiler discussion. Had that nice little intro made up tonight. I thought Caden was going to be here, so I was going to have it for Caden as well. But we are joined by RJ, and of course, Ryan Hartwell is going to be hanging out with us tonight having this discussion. So happy pre-4th.
Hello.
I hope you guys are having hope you guys are having a good holiday weekend. It's
I am. I'll be honest though, all my plans have kind of been nuked from orbit, so I've just been mostly chilling at home this time, more so than I thought I was going to. But that's okay, nothing like celebrating 4th of July, sitting at home playing Uncharted 4.
sure, yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, like, there's a fireworks ban in my city, and the signs are posted everywhere. But I literally before going live, I was hearing like tons of explosions. So you guys might hear that happening.
You're definitely going to hear some in the background of mine. I do apologize. It's just you live out in the country. People don't use fireworks.
Basically, it's like the cops aren't going to come out here for that unless there's a fire or someone got shot. And quite frankly, who knows if they'll even pop up for that.
It's going to be really dark, but like I feel like the 4th of July would be like the best time to do a murder because like nobody could know if you're like it's a gunshot or a firework.
You ever seen the opening of Zodiac, 2007 Zodiac?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah,
happened on the 4th. So, I mean, well, it doesn't. People may not be able to hear if it's a gunshot or firework or whatever, but there's still the body.
Oh yeah, of course.
So there's some stuff going on. You never know. And speaking of bodies, we were promised a decent body count coming off of the wait for Stranger Things 4 Volume 2, and I'm not too sure if the body count was reflective of what they told us, but of course we can talk about that.
We can get into that.
Just so everyone knows, this is a spoiler discussion. So if you haven't seen Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 or Stranger Things 4 Volume 1, just the entire fucking season.
Yeah, or anything Stranger Things related.
This may not be the place for you. That being said,
I mean, you can still hang around if you don't care.
Sure, if you don't care, yeah, you're going to be like, who's this character? Why should I care about this person or this plot line? Yeah. Because we care about this stuff. Because look, this, I have to give them credit. They knocked it out of the park. Like they took every criticism from, I think, Stranger Things 2 and 3, and they really honed it in for this one.
Yeah, for me, I said this when we talked about Volume 1, but now I can definitely say this is my favorite season since the first season. And I like seasons 2 and 3. 2, not so much. I preferred season 3 to season 2, but overall, like I've loved the series, but this is the strongest season they've had since the first one. So
well, season 2 had the problem of having that really
the only somewhat mediocre
that hard left turn to Chicago. And you're like,
which is definitively the only episode that's like nobody really likes. I mean, it's not bad television; it's still decent television, but it's like the worst season of a great show. Or sorry, the worst episode of a great show.
Yeah, the Chicago scene kind of felt like it didn't really go anywhere, but
I mean that the whole episode is basically how Eleven gets her groove back, but that's also kind of what almost what her entire arc was for this whole season. Because she's kind of like insecure in season 2. So she goes to Chicago to find number 6 to learn more about her past, about her mama, things along those lines. And then comes back with like that straight up like 80s goth look, like hair slicked back, guy liner on. She's just like, I'm gonna close the gate, bitch. And then it's over. And then season 3, she's like, oh, happy go lucky, hanging out with Max and everything else, right? Total shift change because of where she finds herself. And I got it, I think she did that with Max in season 2. Her and Max had the bestie moments in season 2, I think.
You're talking about Max and 11?
Max and 11, yeah.
That was actually in season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
Oh, right, because it was the boy thing, because they were like, oh my God, boys.
It was the summer, it was this whole summer thing.
Yeah, it was a summer episode. That was, it's just, it's a lot to think about. I need to go back and rewatch it. Because also, but a lot of people apparently, I was looking at some of the Nielsen ratings, and I guess a lot of people are going back and rewatching the first 3 seasons.
Oh yeah, no, even in Netflix's own numbers have been talking about that too. So it's It's been crazy. I mean, I forgot the Nielsen numbers were for Stranger Things 4, but it was like something like 4 billion or 5 billion watched hours, something crazy like that. Like
Squid Game still usurps it. Like Squid Game still beats out Stranger Things.
No, I thought they said this is like the highest Nielsen, like highest Netflix premiere ever.
Well, okay, maybe on that front, but I think Netflix is well, it's kind of weird. Like I think Squid Game, like it's overall 1.7 billion hours watched for the entire season. And then like I just get the numbers on. I forget who reports what. Honest to God, these days, I forget who reports what.
Yeah,
is it Samba? Is it Nielsen? Who fucking knows?
Nielsen is the most reliable. Nielsen's the best of the best.
Yeah.
Because they're actually legit, and their whole job is to track data for stuff for these companies. So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, no, Nielsen, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Nielsen. I think a lot of the times it's pointless. But, because I feel like they, for the longest time, they weren't reflective of streaming numbers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these companies use Nielsen as a way to, determine whether shows should be canceled or renewed. And the thing is, I'm at a point, and I've been arguing this point now for forever, is that they should really set out to just tell these stories. And if a show is not performing as well as you wanted to, don't kneecap it, wrap it up, right? Wrap it up. And then, you know what? And be smarter about the next investment that you make. Because I think if you provide endings to these shows, then the fans get closure and they might be willing to give more things a shot. So, I mean, with Stranger Things, a lot of it is very much word of mouth. A lot of people really, were talking about the season. I think TikTok helped quite a bit, if you want my honest opinion, because Stranger Things is all over TikTok.
Well, it's all okay, Matt. You're gonna put your TikTok agenda. Matt's TikTok agenda. He's gonna get everybody on TikTok.
No, I'm telling you though, man. I'm telling you, like it's like the whole Minions thing is being spread through TikTok. But a lot of stuff out there, like a lot of the YouTube shorts I even watch here on the platform, are a lot of them that were Stranger Things were like stuff that had a TikTok watermark. I mean, like there's no denying that the short form content, people just making all of these really weird little mashups and whatnot about like Eddie or Max or 11 or whatever, those ones have very much been able to, like kind of live on and really grow. So I do feel that this season is the one that kind of hit for maybe like a more emerging younger audience, because it's been 3 years since the last season. So like, some of those kids that maybe have grown up with it now, but they're a bit more mature. I don't know. That's my weird boomer take on it. Okay.
It's fun. We all have our boomer moments.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but anyway, the episodes were definitely wild in regards to their length. Actually, I do want to get this one here. Benson, I'm going to get your super tattoo, buddy. Thank you. He says the success of the show proves Netflix should go episodic rather than pump and dump. Kate Bush certainly helped the show too. Yeah, Kate Bush. I mean, she made what, 2.3 million is what they're reporting just on royalties alone.
Something crazy like that. Yeah.
Just imagine that one, right? You're like, oh yeah, I haven't done anything in a long time. I'm just enjoying my retirement.
It's that one episode of SpongeBob where it's like Mrs. Puff just lying down like on a bed while Mr. Krabs is like giving her all this stuff and she looks all fancy and rich. She's like, she did absolutely nothing, and this is probably the wealthiest and most well off she's ever been in her entire life for doing absolutely nothing. So go Kate Bush. She did the work.
Oh yeah. Well, and then Spherical Manor says this was the second best use of Metallica in a show or movie. The first is the beginning of Zombieland. Here's the weird thing about the Metallica. I love Master of Puppets for one, but Metallica, I know that song is nearing 40 years old or it's 40 years old or whatever, but it still feels modern. It like Metallica never feels its age.
No.
Like
that's kind of a good thing though, isn't it?
Well, it is, but like Kate Bush running up that hill, it feels like it's an 80s track. Like Metallica, Master of Puppets, fuck dude, the Black Album is from the 80s and that shit is still relevant. You can hear the Metallica Black Album at and I just listened to it the other night. And it was like, still felt like it was like, I just heard it for the first time in the 90s. It feels almost timeless because the Black Album, quite frankly, I think is like a very perfect album. and I do love the Metallica version of that, but I feel like it should have been something maybe a little different. You know, I don't know if like something a bit more obscure that felt like it's the 80s. Like, you know, because
but Master of Puppets was so transcendent for that genre though, of music, especially in the year it came out. I mean, it was a really important song, so I understand the significance of that too. You know,
no, I get it. Plus, also, what's the song called? Yeah, Master of Puppets, right? Holding the strings, Vecna holding the strings. It's very, you know,
it fits with the theme at least.
Yeah. I love the Black Album. I also love Injustice for All. All right. I love Metallica up until track 7 of was it Reload? Right. I like Fuel. And then after Fuel, they've just gone downhill, and don't even get me started on Saint Anger. Okay. Don't even get me started about whatever the fuck that was. But I really enjoyed the Eddie bit. But I mean, looking at the episode, well, actually, hold on. Benson did super chat this. I just want to get it. It says here, this Stranger Things season 4 ending was fantastic. I'm looking forward to season 5 and the spinoffs. RJ, well done on your stream defending yourself against Knob Rider.
Thank you. I wouldn't call it. I don't know if I had so much of defense as more so just me ranting and getting pissed off. But thank you.
So Spherical Manor says they out Metallica. Also, a friend said Eddie's actor must really know how to play the guitar because that was genuine playing. He looked like he owned the part, you know. So was it Load? I thought it was Reload. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Anything after Fuel sucked. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, right. Spherical Manor says Master of Puppets fits, but I was expecting Ozzy since they were dealing with bats. that would have worked too, but it's like
as a play Crazy Train. Yeah.
But when did I thought Crazy Train was like the early 90s.
Okay.
I thought it was
they would have to pick something that fits the year too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Caden here asking how long y'all think the time jump? No, I don't know yet. I mean, it could be.
Who knows? I mean,
I don't think it's going to be that long.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, we'll get to that though. So it's like, obviously yeah. So episode 8, you know, very much started off with like everyone trying to figure out how to get back to Hawkins. And I'll tell you, I did a whole stream about like the predictions and everything else. And I'll fully admit I was wrong on everything. Right. I was wrong on everything, which I'm very happy about because I was like, okay, I want to see how things are going to go with the show. Cause especially the thing for me was the 11 stuff. Cause we know at the end of episode 7, she had basically got her powers back. We learned who, you know, Henry Creel was. We learned about the Upside Down. We learned all these things. And then it's like, holy shit. Now we have a month to wait to find out more. And then, you know, but still like, yeah, I did see the comment in the chat there about Dr. Brenner. How did Brenner survive at the end of season 1?
Just one of those things that we just kind of had to accept, I guess.
Kind of like Will's birthday. Just like, well, we're just going to overlook this little tidbit. We're not going to dive into it too much.
He did have a scar.
But the scar was indicated being hit with the door during the attack, the massacre at Hawkins' lab. Because he had the gash on his face. So they kind of retconned a few things from season 1.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, like taking the same logic as Squid Game, if you don't see a character, you know, keeling over, getting shot, or just getting stabbed, then chances are maybe they're not dead. Similar to the old man, even though the camera pans away from the shot, you hear the gunshot, but you never see him get shot.
Yeah, it's old horror movie logic, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So no, I get that. I get that. I feel like though, again, even though like that was something on my mind when he came back in the show, I was like, okay. I'm not gonna.
Care if it works.
I don't care. Yeah, like I'm not gonna nitpick this. I'm not gonna make videos like they're disrespecting the lore. Fucking gone woke to give the old white guy a role. Mm-hmm. You know, like none of that was a thing. The let's see here. It was the Demogorgon though. The Demogorgon was an extension of Vecna. Yeah.
Well, also too, maybe the other thing is, well, I don't know exactly. I mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because it worked here. I mean, this episode was Matthew Modine's goodbye to the show, for right now at least. So like, it's fine.
And I'm surprised they killed him the way that they did.
Well, I had a feeling because the episode was called Papa. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like a Matthew Modine heavy episode, like an 11 centric episode. I'm like, if you're gonna kill off somebody, Brenner makes a lot of sense. He's kind of like, this is like, the passing of the torch moment. It's like, okay, we're kind of done with this character. We know everything about what happened. Now we know everything about what happened in the labs and all that stuff. So it made sense for him to go. I mean, the thing is, though, when it was really funny, actually, like, the army shows up, and I don't know if you noticed, but it's kind of like an homage to Star Wars a little bit, where, like, the guards.
Yes, I saw, yes, when they're in the tunnel, and I'm just looking at that going, like, why don't one of you guys, like, aim at their feet?
Right?
Right?
Well,
it's like,
and the General Sullivan coming in like Darth Vader, too. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, and one of their guys was dead on the ground, right? One of the military guys who had stormed it was dead, and they just walked right past his body, like no one checking on him. And I'm also like, but wait a minute, like these guys all have like like M16s or whatever, and yet like all the guards in the base just had like MP5s or whatever, submachine guns. And I was like, why doesn't if they're aiming, like just aim at the wall or something, it's gonna ricochet. You might have a shot of like hitting them in the feet or whatever. But yeah, but what really got me though was when 11 and Brenner were coming out of that back hatch, and you just see like all the dead scientists.
Oh, it's right? Gunned down with a helicopter.
And I'm just like, who the fuck is up there shooting at these guys? And then here comes a helicopter with the sniper. I'm like, oh shit, that was actually really cool. I like that. I like that scene quite a bit because they're just like, like, oh, should we take her out? But then you have Owens trying to like argue with the general, like, we may need her. Don't do this.
Yeah, because because remember, the whole reason Sullivan's after 11 is because they think 11's the real monster, the one that's killing all these people in Hawkins.
Yeah.
Plus, they just probably want her as a weapon too. To be fair, too,
they just would have killed her. I think maybe experimented on her or like performed an autopsy, examined her. Right. And then, move on to the next PsyOps project that they had lying around in the 80s. Because Lord knows there was more than one.
That's a good question from Spherical Man. What the hell is going to happen to Paul Reiser's character Owens now?
I don't know. I mean, because here's my question.
They didn't show him. They didn't show the army killing him.
Yeah. So I thought like, oh, is that meant to be like he's one of the ones who dies? I don't think they would kill him. Because they're still going to because now they know that with Hawkins, where the show ends, like what's going on to an extent. So they're going to need him. I'm pretty certain he's still around. But but those guys I think are going to probably roll in hardcore to Hawkins, and that's going to be a big part of the next season. But again, that's conversation for down the road. What I thought was really funny about that was like, here comes the pizza truck. And they're just
right?
they're just like, hey, this Chevy is coming, or whatever it was, right?
It's a Civi vehicle.
Yeah,
and they're just pizza.
But no one said it. It's just like ignore the Chevy.
Take the shot.
And then I like that the camera just we see it through the scope, and it just pans back, and like 11's gone. And in my mind, I'm like, haha, you guys are so fucked now.
And then she just pops up, lifts her hands, like she's taking that copter down.
Oh yeah, no, she basically like does to that thing what Darth Vader did to the escape pod in fucking Kenobi. That one ship trying to get out, she just took it down. And I love it though, because you think it's like taking out the whole base, when really she's just dropping this helicopter on a whole bunch of Humvees. But then of course, like they just get out of there. They're just like Mike and Will and everyone runs on up and shit, and it gets on in there, get her out. And then, of course, we did finally see what the painting was before that scene. We got a little ahead of ourselves there.
Yeah, you kind of made a TikTok about that. And I'm going to be honest, like, I think I get your point. But to me, like, if we want to get into that conversation, that scene definitely felt like it was, like, kind of very much trying to be, like, almost a coming out scene in a way. But
it was handled. I was talking about this with Caden privately. Because Caden was like, can he be gay and stunted? And I'm like, yeah. Both are probably true. However, the way I view it is this: from a storytelling perspective, they have given no indication that Will was gay. He's the sensitive kid. He's the sensitive one of the group. But he's also had like nonstop, just like PTSD for years. So that's going to stunt any kind of emotional maturing. And there's going to be some delayed adolescence there. And then to immediately just go into this, like, well, he's gay storyline is like, okay, you guys are kind of handling this a little poorly. Besides, last season, we got the gay storyline with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now you're just doubling down on this. And so my question, I'm watching this that scene play out, and Noah Schnapp did a good job in acting it, but I'm like, something about this is not sitting well with me. And I mentioned this to Caden too. I said, this is a scene where like they have not established that there would be any kind of like love interest between him and Mikey. You know what I mean? Like because it's like, or that he would have.
Doesn't mean that him and Mike have to get together
No.
though.
Obviously it's Mike and 11 with, clearly. But what I mean by that is we haven't really gotten any indication up until this season or up until that point. And then even when Will and Mikey kind of had their conversation, it wasn't even about like, it wasn't a romantic thing. It was like, I miss you like you're my brother. Right. Like even when they're kind of talking about 11 and like, Will's or, Will's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I feel like a third wheel. I feel like an asshole. Then Mike is like, no, I'm the jerk. It's brothers that were fighting and making up again, like not indicating that there is some kind of one side emotion.
I mean, listen, the moment he lied to him and said, oh, 11 kind of told me kind of like what to draw in a way or whatever he kind of said, where it's like he made Mike the heart because he meant what he was saying, of course, but it was more deeper than that. Like it was very obvious.
I think it's poor storytelling. I do. I think it's ham-fisted.
I really don't.
I think it's very ham-fisted. In the way that they're telling the story. I really do.
That scene made it believable to me. I think
his acting made it believable. The
acting and the way
made it believable, but the context of the scene, I feel, in relation to the rest of the show as well as the season, very much felt like just like they were shoehorning it in. Obviously for a season 5 reveal sort of thing. And I see the comments are saying they've been hinting at it since season 1. No, they haven't. They really haven't.
I mean, people have been noticing the signs for a while, though.
People have, again, is this people that are noticing the signs or people that are trying to interject their own politics into it and interject their own opinions into it, right? It's like we've seen this happen before where certain, like the shipping, right? The shipping we see in fan culture, where if certain characters don't get together, people get upset. I forget what show did it recently, but like one of them did it recently. Oh no, it was fucking Supergirl. Right? It was Supergirl, where Supergirl and like Lana, like, what was it? Like Lana Luthor, Lana Luthor, whatever her name is. Like they didn't get together or like whatever at the end of the show. And all the fans are just like, or not all, but a subsect I saw like on social media were freaking out over that. But no, they had all these moments together. Oh, it's just queer baiting. And it's like, see, is it queer baiting or is it you inserting your own politics into this? Because Noah Schnapp even said himself, you interpret the character how you want to interpret the character, right? Mm-hmm. And Mark Hamill has even said, people asking, oh, was Luke Skywalker gay? And Mark Hamill has said, well, if you believe Luke Skywalker is gay, then Luke Skywalker is gay. I mean, sure, leave it ambiguous here. But it's like, again, the way I think like the storytelling is being told is it's like it just doesn't make.
Well, I know in season 3 people were bringing up he had that moment where he in the garage he said I don't even like girls. He kind of like said that awkwardly too. Like he kind of like
sure. But I also looked at that moment again, going back to the post-traumatic stress disorder. This is a kid that when he was going through adolescence and being through all the things that he is very, in my mind, very sustained, right? Very, very delayed in his adolescence. The haircut is a prime indicator of that. The shutting himself off, moving himself, being very kind of like whatever, closed off and everything else. I think look, is he gay? Probably. But do I think they could handle it a little bit better while maybe exploring the other kind of stuff? Sure. But it's like, I still think it's like, again, I think that particular scene, while it was meant to be the emotional crutch of the episode and probably even like, even maybe one of the key moments from the back half of the season, I feel just kind of lost me in its execution. Never mind that it was handled so well. It's a weird thing to be, but I watch those scenes. I'm like, yeah, no, I get what they're trying to go for, but it's not working for me. It's just not working for me, but then
again, that's fair. For me, I thought that scene made it very believable and I bought it. Like it lines up with where this character's been going. And I think Well, we'll get to it later, but I think season 5 is definitely going to be the Will season that people have been waiting for a while. So.
Maybe Jonathan will have something to do. But I mean, well, because again, like I think like the Byers family outside of Joyce had very little to do.
This season they definitely had less to do than before. Yeah,
I mean,
that is probably one of the biggest complaints I have. Although, again, I understand the cast is just so big, it's kind of hard. Unless, like, they try and spread it out as much as they can. But I thought these last 2 episodes made up for that because, if anything, the last 2 episodes showed that everyone needs to be together in order to solve these problems. Like, it cannot be just one person. 11's not enough by herself. Steve, Robin, Nancy, they can't do it by themselves. Everyone, it has to be involved for this to work, which I really like that whole concept.
Because one of the things that the show has done very well all the way through has been bringing all the characters together in a very natural way. Here they did it, and I was like, oh, okay, because I kept thinking like they're gonna bring everybody back to Hawkins, right, and not have like one fight take place in Russia, one fight take place in Nevada, and the other one take place in Hawkins. But it makes sense now, but it makes sense the way that they did it, to an extent. I mean, the Russia thing was maybe a little bit on the, a little bit too far out there to an extent, right? A little bit too creature.
I liked it though. Like I had a lot of fun with that. I mean, you kind of need a subplot for the adults to get behind too, right? You have to have the adult characters do something. I thought they used the Russia stuff very well in that regard. I thought it was fun. We got Yuri, we got the prison guard dude, all those characters. Like those two were really interesting and funny. Yeah, Murray got a lot more to do.
And I guess you could argue that by finding out the Demogorgon, and maybe just the Demogorgons, they're a hive mind, and by killing off the head of the Demogorgon, it kind of makes it a little easier for the rest of the cast to maybe go after Vecna in a way.
But here's my question though: was that the only Demogorgon? They were clearly cloning them, breeding them, we don't
know, or they were crossing over via a gate in Russia, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how many of them there are, right? I don't think if you had access to all those creatures, I'm pretty sure there's more than one. I mean, look at the demi-dogs in season 2, where there was a few of those, and then you had the demi-bats, right? In this one, there's a lot of the demi-bats and stuff. So there's a lot of crazy shit that was going on with these creatures. Also, containing the particle dust, whatever that shit was. They didn't really explain that very well.
No.
I mean, except to say that it was a piece of the mind flayer, it looks like.
Well, yeah, that piece of the mind flayers was made the other Demogorgons, I think, is what they were implying.
Probably, yeah. Or it gave them, yeah.
It basically gave them life. So once you killed them, then that kind of got swept away.
But then the Russians were able to extract it and contain it somehow. I mean, that was kind of weird. But because they didn't really give, I mean, what I thought was really funny was when they were walking in the prison stuff, and they were everyone was walking through where they were doing the tests on the different Demogorgon, and they had the one chained to the table, and then you see the other ones in the container tubes. It reminded me of Alien Resurrection when they walked into the cloning facility for all the Ripleys, and who was in Alien Resurrection? Winona Ryder.
Oh yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
and so I kind of I had a little bit. There were some throwbacks to some stuff. Am I reading into that scene a bit too much?
Maybe the final season they'll go full circle and bring in Sigourney Weaver.
They
always gotta have some kind of celebrity.
Don't get my hopes up. Don't get my hopes up for bringing or Linda Hamilton.
They're gonna bring in I mean, pretty much every season's had some kind of famous actor come in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they had Robert Englund for one scene.
Yeah, but a really well done scene though. Really well done. So
no, they definitely upped their they upped their game on that. McLeod here says, I know this will come across as fucked up, but I'm kind of hoping Mike's dad gets clipped in season 5. He's such a typical shirt tucked, stick up the ass, POS 80s father. Oh yeah, but he's also the guy you want to hate too. Benson here says, I think 11 will fly in season 5. Yeah, they kind of set that one up because there was 2 references to that, right? There was Brenner telling 11 that she can fly, and then Mikey was telling her in the finale that she can fly. So, and then I think I agree with Benson. I think she is going to fly in the next season. She'll go full on like superhero and whatever for what they need her for. What else happened? Like, I feel like in that episode for episode 8 still, they were the stuff with the kids was really good, right? Back in Hawkins.
When they went to the gun. No, my favorite part was like when the Steve, Robin, and Nancy crew were all going to the gun store, and like everybody in Hawkins was stocking up. Everybody from school, everybody in the neighborhood's like, we're getting our guns. It's like
what was really funny about that was a high school student was getting his hands on like a Magnum.
Oh yeah, with Jason, yeah.
Jason was like, "Let me see that Magnum you got there, or that gun you got there," and like he buys it. But then again, the 80s, I mean, who knows? There's a panic going on.
Yeah.
He's kind of leading the charge against the panic. They think Eddie is a serial killer that's summoning Satan to just, to take out these teens and shit.
That scene where he grabs the shotgun from Nancy kind of, that exchange, that actually was very tense and creepy. Like just showing how far gone he was at that point.
Yeah.
Seeking revenge.
He was definitely, he was good as being like the ground level, as like the new Billy. Right, he was kind of like the new Billy, but he was like charismatic and people liked him, and he wasn't a fucking. Well, I don't know if I'd say he's a sociopath. I don't think he was a sociopath.
He's just someone consumed by revenge.
Yeah,
at all costs.
And then, but what I did enjoy though was when Vecna was showing Nancy everything. Like I want you to see this. I want you to tell 11 that this is what's going to happen. And I thought that was a really good exposition into everything. Just to kind of get us caught back up. And then to explain how Vecna got into. So we know how Vecna got to the Upside Down. We then know that the Mind Flayer was there, but then Vecna took control of the Mind Flayer.
The way it was implied to me when he got into that dimension, right? Whatever that dimension was that 11 opened the gate to by accident with their mind battle. It was like a new land, right? You see the Demogorgons running free. It's just like a world of like, it wasn't even red either. You notice that? It was like yellow. And then once he took over, it turned red.
Yeah.
The way it was applied to me was that he created the Mind Flayer. Like it was just a ball of energy that he gave a form to in the form of a spider. So he really was the one who created it and turned it into whatever it became. So he's not the general like Dustin thought. He's actually the mastermind. He's like the guy.
Well, that is what I'd been saying. That he was the one in charge.
Yeah, the Mind Flayer, if anything, is more like the general. He's more like he's like the giant tank.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what is it? Like there's the Mind Flayer doing all that stuff. And I really enjoyed seeing the Mind Flayer again. It's like, okay, clearly the Mind Flayer is going to come back to some extent. I think because, here's the thing though. By killing off the creatures, does that make Vecna weaker? It kind of implied that.
But I think it's going to be to maybe next season where he's going to separate himself from the hive mind maybe so they don't have an effect on him. I mean, because what it's leading to, man. He's going to lead like an army of like hundreds of these things.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be wild, and like Hawkins and the military are going to have to fight back, and with 11 leading the charge. But I guess it's kind of, maybe I just read it wrong, or maybe I looked at it wrong. But when they were going back to the prison, because I did enjoy the prison stuff. I thought that was great, but it was like, especially when they get the flamethrower and they're going back into the prison, and they're like,
oh that was really funny. Where it's like Murray's like, so you're telling me we had to go back into the Russian prison that we just nearly died trying to escape from? It's like, yep. Gotta go right back.
Gotta do this. So they fight the Demigorgon and the Demidogs and everything, but it's like they go, oh, it's a hive mind, but it can help the kids in any way that we can. And I understand the logic behind it, but I'm just wondering, what was the impact of that? Did it weaken Vecna? Because it never really said that it did.
It kind of implied that yes, it did. For the moment, it kind of like, because they're all connected, it did physically affect him to where it gave them just enough time to be able to enact damage on him. Although I was kind of like pissed off a little bit because I'm like, Nancy, you sawed off that shotgun, and I'm really happy you're blasting him, but why not go for the head? Shoot him right in the head at point blank range. You're right there.
Should have gone for the head.
Pretty much, like this is like Thanos thing, man. Like just like Thanos, man. You gotta go for the head.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I agree. I mean, but that was still really cool. I like the way they shot that and everything else.
Oh, when he was on fire too. That was
Yeah.
Oh
great.
God, yeah.
But we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
But what I enjoyed though about like the Hawkins crew is like once they figured out, like they're like, okay, we've got to go back in. We like with Dustin said it best. He's like, look, 1 is like 11, so we know what his strengths are, but we also know what his weaknesses are. And that was a good observation. Like Dustin, Dustin is, yeah, I know they said Mikey's the heart, but I think Dustin was kind of more the heart,
I think Dustin's the brains.
Yeah.
He's a strategist.
Yeah. Then Lucas kind of became the brawn to an extent, finally got his little play on that one. But I like how they're like, okay, like, let's like, we have to like go through the different phases. And we all can't move until like, no deviation, like really like this is what we have to do. And I just like that it's like, they Lucas and Erica and Max, like, using Max as bait going into the Creel house. Like it seemed like a really good plan, but like you could tell like it was probably going to get really screwed.
Yeah, it's a great plan, but the issue is that Vecna knew the whole time what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, because you can't outsmart somebody like that. They are always going to be a step ahead of you. But did anybody else get like It vibes with like the kids going to the creepy house?
Yes.
Yeah, I felt.
Well, also when she was in the positive memory of the dance and the balloons were exploding with blood.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That was absolutely an It reference right there. So, there was a lot of good little subtle references here and there. I mean, Vecna channeled his inner Freddy Krueger.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I like when they get into the house and it's like I like how they kind of stake it out first. Like, I mean, the whole thing with like the lights flickering, in the upside down and everything else, like that whole communicate. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit on the far-fetched side throughout the season. And they were able to communicate with like the light brights and everything else. I'm like, all right, well, I guess it kind of makes sense because Will was able to communicate through the upside down using lights in season 1. Even though I'm still trying to figure out exactly like now that I think back to season 1 on that one, when he was in there, how the fuck was he able to do that? Did they ever explain that, or am I just forgetting? It's been a long time.
On a couch or something.
Well, no, like how because Will was like, he was trapped in there, right? He was kidnapped, and they had the little vine and everything else with them, So was he part of the hive mind at that point, and he could just make that connection? Was Vecna using him to like communicate with his mom in order to like get them to go down there to bring 11 down there? There's a lot of questions that we have to ask now for like, now that we know Vecna was pulling the strings, but what was his plan all along? Because remember, like he was using the kills as a way to open the gate, right? To weaken the membrane, if you will, between our world and the upside down. But in season 1, they had the gate under the lab in Hawkins, which the military had opened, but there was also that gate that they found in the forest. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then in season 2, they found like another gate underneath the pumpkin patch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, Vecna explained that he's been the one pulling the strings, but I think like in the next season, when we find out more, like he's got to kind of explain each season, like what the plan was.
The biggest thing, and I think Spearman brings up a great point, was Vecna the one that purposely chose to kidnap Will, or was it just a happy accident? Because remember, the Upside Down's been trapped in that time loop where it's the day Will went missing, right? 2 years ago, or whatever it was, or 2 or 5 years, however long it's been.
Like 2 years, like 2-3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, okay, you're right. It was stuck in that time loop. But then again, was it progressing naturally at the same rate of time beforehand?
That's a good question.
They haven't explained that at all, which is why people have been suggesting that it's possible that time travel will be a thing in season 5.
Why do we need time travel?
I don't, because it's another 80s trope, like the Phoenix Project, or sorry, the Phoenix Experiment. No, is it the Phoenix Project? No, sorry, the Philadelphia Experiment, I think is what it is. There's two of the movies. It's a thing.
It's an experiment of some kind.
Yeah, because that was like about going back in time and everything else, and like experimenting with that. So obviously, if they've got psychic abilities and telekinetic abilities and the ability to kind of go, close gates or open gates into different dimensions, why not time travel?
Right.
Why not flying?
Add to the list,
There's a lot that they've built up in regards to like the world that they necessarily have not been, it's not that they haven't fully been able to like explain it, but it's just kind of like there's stuff there that you don't, it's like basically just don't think about, it's like we've just moved past that, like the whole Will's birthday thing, like little details like that they're like, yeah, no, we're just going to move past it. We're just going to, fans caught it, but we're cool.
Well, they said they might retcon it to be where it's May or March instead of May, or whatever they said they were going to do.
They probably should.
Or they're just going to leave it as is, just to like make it sadder. I don't know.
They should make it sadder. They should 100% make it sadder.
It would fit. It would
I support that for like how much Will has gotten fucked. Just keep shoveling it on. Just keep doing it, Right. And I think that's going to be okay. I think that's going to be all right. Just like, cause it's like, that's the guy you want to then get the underdog win. You're going to look forward to Will kind of having his moment in season 5. Cause I think he's going to be able to feel where Vecna is. So, cause he knows Vecna is still alive at this point. So he's definitely, he's definitely feeling all that stuff. And he's going to be a good indicator for like what's going on. So he's going to kind of be like the canary in the coal mine, if that makes sense. And I think that's because, Will is going back into the Upside Down this next season. Like they're all going to go back into the Upside Down.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, but, okay. So I guess we could, what else is there? So, okay. So let's talk about Eddie Munson. How about that?
Okay.
Because everyone's,
there's a lot to talk about in regards to the final episode. Cause this was the big thing, as you mentioned, right? So they kind of were hyping up who's going to die, right? And I forgot, who did you predict again?
I thought Eddie was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jason, I figured was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to kill off Will or Jonathan because like their characters at this point just have no functionality.
Did you think they were going to kill off Brenner?
I figured as much. Brenner was going to be it. And, I tell you the Max thing, I didn't see that happening.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. Like that's a lot we can dive into because that was crazy. But yeah, but Eddie, man, oh my God,
Eddie, like I was really hoping he was going to survive and join the team.
Yeah.
Me too.
But as I was saying this to Caden beforehand, it's like
They always introduce a character you like in each season ever since the first one.
Bob in season 2, Robin in season 3.
Well, no,
took the words right out of my mouth.
Alexi in season 3. Alexi.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
we're
yeah.
talking about characters that get introduced and die. So it was Bob, Alexi, Eddie.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing though with that as well is Eddie's death. He was the only person we know of to die in the Upside Down.
Oh,
so
what about Barbara?
Barb was killed. Barb was killed, I think, before the Upside Down.
No, she was killed inside the Upside Down. She got dragged in there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she didn't survive the dragging. We just know she's dead. What I mean was like going in there, being killed. All I'm saying is, what if Vecna found Eddie? What if Eddie? Okay, look, if Max was dead. Right? If Max was dead and was able to be resurrected to an extent by 11, which we'll get to that, couldn't Vecna at the end when he escaped also find Eddie and bring Eddie back and then use that as an avatar?
It's possible.
Because like Vecna's like weak and shit, right? So
kind of like Lady Stoneheart from Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, but actually shown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not just had her throat slit and there you have it. Bob's your uncle. See you later, lady. But no, that's definitely something, right? They could. I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, the actor who plays Eddie had said that he's in season 5.
Yeah, it could be lying though. You know,
sure. You know, but there's been a lot of Eddie Munson appreciation posts on social media.
Yeah. Well, Strickland brings up, what about the people from the facility that went to the Upside Down and were killed?
Oh yeah, they're not main characters.
Yeah,
that's my logical argument.
I think we're trying to rationalize a way for him to come back.
I want him to come back. I just want him to come back.
I don't think he's going to come back though. I think we're done. I think we're done with Eddie. I hope I'm wrong though, but we'll see. I don't know. I'll be honest, like his death, even though he's only been a character around for a whole season, it really was touching. I mean, because again, so much of the performances, especially in the season, just carried the show so well beyond, right? It's just how they did it, I think, was just really well done. And I think that actor did such a great job. I guess the real question, though, is just like, well, kind of like what does this do for Dustin, right? Like going forward as a character, because that was really why they did it, right? They did this for Dustin, right? So what does this do for him going forward?
I think with Dustin's character, what's going to happen is, you know, because like he's going to be the new DM for the Hellfire. Well, actually, I don't think the Hellfire Club is going to come back.
Hellfire's not going to exist anymore. There's no way.
No. Yeah, there's no way, right? They might
take care of the people in the club, but it's going to have to be private now, not at school anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean,
there's even a school to go back to, which we'll get into.
Well, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I think with Dustin though, he you know, he's growing up, right? He's definitely growing up and becoming more of a leader. And again, he's learning, you know, from like Steve Harrington and everything else, right? Because he kind of like was a kid with 2 dads in this season. You know?
He had like Steve and Eddie.
And Eddie, right? Yeah, and like Eddie was like the fun stepdad type guy, you know, and Steve, again, I love that line, always the babysitter. You know, oh, here's a little thing too, and when Steve and Nancy were talking about the 6 kids, how many kids are there? How many kids does Steve babysit? Mike,
Dustin.
Yeah. Max, Eric, 11.
Max,
6.
Yeah.
6. Yeah. He's already got. That's what the joke was. I've already have enough practice.
Technically 7 if you had Erica.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about Erica. You know.
Hey, Erica proved herself this season, though.
Oh no, that's what I'm talking. I'm not talking shit about Erica. She absolutely proved herself this season. She proved herself last season too. I think they just did a better job with her this season. I thought she was great. You know, like I was actually legitimately afraid like they were gonna kill her when the bad guys were, you know, when Jason and the other guy were driving up to the Creel house and happened to and saw her in the little playground.
Oh, dude, when that guy tackled her, I was like, oh shit! And they were gonna beat the hell out of her.
I thought I thought he was gonna kill her or try to kill her or whatever, but she got the upper hand.
Hit him right in the nuts.
Yeah, and then beat him with the flashlight, you know. But then what was great about that too was Jason going into the house. And that whole battle with Lucas,
because it's like they set up this whole plan for Max, right? And at the worst possible time, he comes in and messes it all up. You're just like, God damn it, Jason, just leave. And it's like Lucas is beat, like there's beat, like that scene where Lucas gets held at gunpoint was so like terrifying.
Well, because they had prefaced it right beforehand by showing Jason practicing his shooting ability.
Oh yeah, you knew he was a good shot.
And I mean, he was like 360 no scoping those tackle bags, right? So obviously he very much, he was very good at that. So, you know, Lucas would probably not be able to get away from him, which is why when Lucas, you know, finally made the attack on him, he went low and made himself a smaller target and threw Jason off and whatever. But what was crazy about that was like, Jason was like, you know, you need to wake her up. And he's like, ain't nothing we can do. You know, I thought that was great because like he's trying to, for one, like Lucas clearly loves Max and Max clearly loves Lucas. That little exchange with them, with just using the note cards,
they're drawing and writing.
That was really sweet. That was really sweet.
And he asked her movie Friday, and she just drew the little drawing of them at the movies together,
holding hands.
Yeah. They might as well say 2 days left before retirement.
Right?
Kinda, yeah. Or Max just goes, I'm getting too old for this shit, and then, but I mean, well, then again, like her going into it, like the way that they did that was really well done, because like you weren't expecting Vecna to take over, but then like having that Lucas twist where, he was like, you wanted Billy to die? Did you ever want me to die?
Oh yeah,
like,
because remember, Max was like fearless at that moment. Like she was ready for Vecna, and then the moment Lucas got involved, it was like, oh shit, because she doubted it for a second,
Yeah, hold on, King of Golden State. Did you think this was the finale of the show?
Yes, he did.
No, there's one more season coming, and then there's a spinoff. We don't know what the spinoff is going to be yet. Also, I expect there to be probably animated series and a whole bunch of shit. But this is they got one more season to go, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, like Max, because it was great though. It was like Max, like you're right, she was fearless, and they had a plan. But then in that moment, it's like, well, crap. But then she didn't know that 11 was trying to come to save her. So she didn't know about that. And I thought that scene was really funny too, when they go to like the Surfer Pizza.
Oh yeah, it's like, and then Argyle's like, what's the, like, I know a place like the most amount of salt, and they walk into the Surfer Boys, it's just another Argyle.
Yeah.
Basically, it's another stoner dude. It's like, here, just let us use the place and we'll give you a joint.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course, as they're clearing out the freezer, Argyle makes a pizza.
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm walking in the back. I'm like, is he making a pizza for like a good? Like, why is he making a pizza? Just because. Just because.
It's all, hey, try before you deny. It's like the whole pineapple on pizza. Yeah, the like, pineapple on pizza thing. And it's just like, try before you deny, man. That was really funny. I enjoyed that quite a bit.
Oh, I love that conversation too, real quick, between Jonathan and Will in the kitchen.
Yeah,
that was really well done.
That was well done. That was finally a brother moment. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Even Jonathan admitting like he's just been caught up in his own shit.
Which is why he's turned to like weed and everything. Why he's been so distant. It's like, okay, this makes sense. He's dealing with stuff too, and he hasn't been open. Yeah.
Well, they've been there's like PTSD that all these guys have, and it doesn't always get really talked about. But they did a little bit of it towards the end there. I'll fully admit. Even if I disagree with how it was handled prior to that, I still really appreciate that scene. Actually, that scene made me kind of want to call my brothers, because I kind of like haven't talked to them much recently. So just like checking on them. Because I have 3 younger brothers, so it's kind of like, I'm the oldest. So
hey, shit to give them. Yes, they did. They're selling Surfer Boy pizzas at Walmart, and they're fucking great. They're frozen pizzas. For frozen pizzas, they're pretty damn good.
I'm
I'm
fine
not
with
kidding,
that.
By the way, like the Stranger Things merchandise is literally them selling Surfer Boys pizza. It's funny as
hell.
A
couple of years ago, they had Baskin Robbins had a promotional tie-in with Stranger Things ice cream, and I was picking up an order from Baskin Robbins back then, and I sampled the Stranger Things ice cream. It was pretty good. I was actually at Baskin Robbins tonight, and they did not have anything for Stranger Things, which makes sense because they're not on Scoops Ahoy anymore. They're not working at that place. But I will say, like, I will just as a quick little throwback, I did like the whole Steve and Robin working at the video store.
Yeah,
like all the little aesthetics with that was really nice.
More of that.
I know. Like, well, that was I saw someone mention that there should be a show, Steve and Robin, and it's every season them working a different job.
Yeah, so I wonder. Well, now they kind of have their new job, which we'll get to in a second, because technically they do have a new job, right?
Kinda. Well, they have at least some volunteering.
More volunteer work. Yeah,
but it makes sense. But it shows you that they're trying to find a way to help, and I like that. Of course. Okay, so going back to the whole prison thing, right? So they're at the prison. They're gonna fight all the demi. What did you think of Hopper grabbing the sword and like literally just like taking out?
He became Conan.
Yeah.
Or Highlander, right? Or Red Guardian, if for H-Bart's sake on that one. Or I thought that was great because like you could tell that the Demogorgon was weak from the fire.
Oh yeah.
So he was able to actually get the one up on him, but it was a good Hopper scene. And I really enjoyed that quite a bit.
What did you think of Hopper and Joyce finally getting together too?
I was good with it. it. What I really enjoyed though was like the scene when they're all kind of like they're all in the moment of getting kind of fucked, right? Like everyone is in like a moment, like, you know, like Nancy and Steve and Robin are all trapped against the wall.
Oh, I was scared, man. I was scared for Robin. I'm like, please don't kill Robin.
I thought they were going to kill one of them there. I really thought they were going to kill one of them there. I'm like, and it felt like it was going to be Robin, like the one you don't want to die. And you're like, no. But they didn't, which was good. But I like that everyone was like kind of at the same moment getting screwed. And towards the end of their rope, so to speak. And then in my mind, I'm going like, yeah, obviously they're going to, you know, something's going to happen and they're all going to be able to find their way out of it. And of course that did happen. But what was great though about that scene with Hopper on the ground, he's got the demi-dog on him, is Joyce just comes running up with that cattle prod, you know, and just zaps it, you know,
stabs it and shocks it.
Yeah, I liked that quite a bit because I thought to myself, like, okay, cool. Like, because Joyce clearly loves Hopper, you know, and she's like, I'm not losing you again, bitch. Like, we're not doing this again.
Yeah, and she literally told him, you better come back because I'm not holding another funeral again.
Yeah.
Like, I literally just did all this. You are not dying. I don't care. Do not die.
Yeah.
I love you. I know.
Yeah, it was kind of like that a little bit. It was nice that they finally did they, I know that did they actually have sex, or I forget, did they have sex or did they get interrupted?
They're still making out, but then the phone call interrupted their.
Oh, right. That happened. It was so late. I watched it so late. I'm trying to remember every detail.
Yeah, this is why I like waited to watch it like closer to like the morning, kind of, just so I could be like.
I wouldn't, if I didn't watch it then, I probably would not have had time to sit down and really watch it. Okay, I watched Moonfall last night, so I could have skipped out on Moonfall.
Yeah, screw Moonfall.
And watched that. Yeah. You know, things I do to review shit for you people. My God. But
was it worth it, Matt? Was it worth it?
It could have been worse. It was okay. The ending was really bad, but I had fun. But anyway, going back to this though, so like the prison stuff was great because I liked you had like Enzo and Yuri. And Enzo was all like, you know, weren't you like, I like how we talked to Yuri into stop being a bitch by
basically,
just like
I want to see the hero again.
Yeah, weren't you this hero? Like,
you used to be cool, man.
Basically, I used to be cool, man. Where's that guy, dude? You know. And then like, of course, that nice little rescue at the end, but then we never see them again. So that part sucks.
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's like, where are they? Which, again, season 5, they'll probably come back, you know, but just that was the one thing I'm like, this finale is like 2.5 hours. You have time to like give us some resolution on those 3 characters. Like, where's Murray? Where's Yuri? Where's the prison guard? You know?
Well, I think in this case, though, again, like, even though it was long, it was still pretty well paced. Like the whole season was very well paced. So it's like, it feels like while they had all that time, they probably didn't really have all that time. Oddly enough. But those guys served their purpose and they survived, and you know, they're probably going to stay in Russia, which is where their homeland is.
Well, just real quick too, just to get back on it, like how did you guys feel about Eddie's death overall? Like, gotta be honest, it did make me cry. I ain't gonna lie, it got me right in the feels.
Yeah, it felt like it was a heroic death. Like,
well, also too because like they kind of built up to it too, because they established a whole line about how he felt like a coward running away when Chrissy got by Vecna. I'm like, okay, he feels guilty, so it's like it's kind of like that redemption for him, where it's like he never felt like a hero, but this time he will be the hero just to do what's right this time to protect Destin.
Yeah. Well, and then also like, but he dedicates the rock concert, the performance to Chrissy at the end there, because clearly there's guilt, but there's also nothing he could have done,
Well, we know there's something he really could have done, but for him it didn't feel that way. It's like he could have at least done something, not run away in that moment.
Yeah, well, he freaked out and shit. I mean, I get it, right? But it's like, so you've got, Eddie's death was there. I mean, it makes sense. He got all the bats away from Dustin, but then Dustin was like, I can't leave you by yourself, and I thought that was like really sad, because Dustin, like, because he fell and he like sprained his leg or something.
Oh, he broke his leg. He broke his leg. Oh, he broke it.
No, I don't think he broke it. He wasn't in a cast at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I think he was just limping.
He was limping, but if it was broken, he wouldn't have been able to walk. Like if it was broken, he would not have been able to walk. He would have been away. Have you ever broken a bone, RJ?
No, thankfully not yet.
Yeah, he would not have been able to walk. I've broken multiple.
I broke my wrist at one time.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking. Yeah, well, with Ryan, it was aggressive masturbation, but let's not get too dwell up in that point. No, I'm kidding. No, like he hurt his, like he landed on it funny, but like, you know, he was definitely injured, so he couldn't get there fast enough. But what sucked about that though was, like, again, at that moment they had fought like the Demi-Dogs and the Demigorgon, killed them. Vecna was kind of injured, and then all the Demi-Bats died. You know, and then like
they all died in one fell swoop. Yeah,
and so
again, that hive mind.
The hive mind was definitely like injured. And it says at that point, you're just like, oh man, like he couldn't have been there. Like, you know, if like 5 seconds, or I don't know, he couldn't have been there a little earlier to save Eddie. But apparently Eddie, the actor, had improvised that "I love you" line.
He did. Yeah. He improvised "I love you, man."
And that was a nice line. You know, like, you're going to have to be the one to lead the group.
Yeah. You got to lead the sheep to the pasture.
Yeah, so you got to be that one. Then he made a comment about like he wasn't going to graduate anyway or something.
No, he said like I was going to walk up on stage, and I told G. Henderson this year was going to be my year. You know,
yeah.
So in a way, it was his year because he got a diet hero, right? He did better than any graduation would have served him.
Yeah, and then Spearman here says, and he died saving Nancy, Steve, and Robin specifically. That's true. He bought them time. That was the whole thing. He bought them time. You know,
the other tragic part of that too, just to jump ahead just a little bit in regards, because it's still on the topic, but he died, right? But in the eyes of everyone, he's still the villain. He died, like, the people who were there know he's a hero, but the rest of the town will always hate him.
Yeah, except his uncle.
Well, except his uncle, and that's the one that was like one of the saddest scenes I've ever seen in the show, and probably one of the, like, that scene really got to me too. That scene really emotionally impacted me, because here's Dustin limping over to his uncle, who's, you know, taking down the missing posters that have been graffiti with the devil stuff on it, because like everyone hates Eddie, right? And he's not giving up on his nephew, and then Dustin just walks over and says, basically he tells him that he gives him the little guitar picket, right? The guitar pick. It's just like, he died saving me, basically. Like, he died a hero, and this town's going to hate him forever, but we both know that he wasn't the bad guy. And that was just really depressing, right? It's just like really, really, really sad.
It was sad. Yeah. Just that whole, like, he died a hero.
But no one's ever going to know that.
Yeah. Like, you know, I was with him when the earthquake hit because he couldn't tell him what really happened, and, you know, all that shit. And it was, I teared up a little bit too. I didn't cry or nothing, but like I was getting pretty sad because you're watching it, you're just like, oh my God, like that is really sad.
Well, it's deep too, because like in the history books, everybody's going to remember Eddie Munson as the evil devil worshiper that caused all this, you know?
Yeah. And again, I'm hoping they rectify that in the next season. I'm hoping that I really want them to pin it on Jason, if I'm being honest with you.
No, don't pin it on Jason.
To say that it was all him. But, well, no, because, you know,
I mean, Vecna crosses over, they're going to know this evil interdimensional monster.
I think Vecna's crossing over. Yeah, I do think that is going to happen. And then they're going to nuke Hawkins. I think Hawkins is going to get nuked. I really do. I think it's going to get bombed to shit and back in the next season. It's just going to be destroyed. However, it's, I mean, Eddie's situation was really sad, but then, you know, it did help draw everything away to get everyone close. And then, you know, obviously with you know, Nancy and Robin and Steve being able to like go after Vecna a bit and hurt him a little bit. But of course he was still battling, you know, he was still, we were kind of getting ahead of ourselves too, because, you know, 11 had gone in and then he had taken 11 and Max to that special place, right?
Basically his home.
Yeah. And then had, you know, the other bodies that were there.
And he's telling 11, like, Brenner didn't make me, like, you did, because you sent me here and turned me into Vecna, basically. Like, it's totally your fault. Which it kind of was, but she was a child defending herself, so, I mean,
I mean, that, you know, it's like, I wanted you by my side, but that, I see things have changed.
We were going to rule the world together, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, you screwed everything up, and now I'm this evil monster. Which, I mean, kind of BS, because you were always a monster, right?
Yeah.
Just that she just made you worse, basically. But yeah, and then you find out that twist too. That seems like Brenner was looking for one this whole time. Like that started all of this. Why she opened the gate in the first place was to find him, because
Yeah, he
Brenner
did.
never
Yeah,
gave up looking for him.
he just wanted one for whatever purpose. But what I don't get, okay, so in Stranger Things 3, the Russians were able to open a gate and travel between Russia and Hawkins, right?
Yes.
So like, what the fuck was Vecna doing during that? Like that. I always thought that was because clearly the Russians would.
I think.
Well, clearly the Russians would have activated the hive mind, because they're not going to be like, they're like, look at this thing on the road, cut the vine out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to end up like clearly knowing, he's going to know that they're there. But maybe he was so distracted with trying to take over Hawkins using the mind flayer at the time to open the gate that he was just like not caring about it. Like, I don't care about this right now. So there's little elements of it that you're just like, okay, can we get some proper explanation for this, please?
Don't worry, the explanation's coming in a couple years. Until then, it's theories,
Oh yeah, Nikki Cunningham here says you don't get it. 11 is the monster. Season 1, episode 6, the monster. She believes it.
She's kind of a monster in a sense, but she's not the monster. Right?
Well, I mean, she was made to be a weapon. She was
made to be a monster, but she's grown beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not above killing people.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
To me, that's really funny. It's like, oh yeah, I'll like a teenage girl. It's like, if I have to kill you, I will fucking kill you. I thought that, yeah. Well, okay, what is it? Obviously, look, like Vecna and 11 having their tete-a-tete was good. What got me though was when Vecna grabbed Max.
Oh, and her limbs started twisting.
And he just starts contorting her limbs, and I'm like,
dude, I was like, I was shocked. I was like, oh my god, they're actually like, because we've seen it happen so many times throughout the season. We know what happens. Like, her arms and legs are fucked. Like, they're fucked. Like, you don't bend them that way and contort them like that, and you're the same person going back,
Well, I mean, they definitely did that, and then like, when 11 stopped Vecna before taking out Max's eyes, but it started already.
But it's already happening. Like, her eyesight is gone. She's blind.
Well, that's if that's going to be a permanent thing, because of course she dies. You hear the 4 bells, and it's like, but the funny thing too about that is like, Vecna is. I'm so like, he's like, you're going to be the girl that breaks open the world.
Yeah, so because 4 kills opens the 4 portals to create that earthquake.
Yeah, and then it was also like a gigantic X in the center of the city. Like X marks the spot. So, okay, that's a thing. Because the other gates had basically kind of been like, they had kind of looked
random
a little
spots,
bit.
kind of.
Well, they were random because they were meant to be cracks and whatever. But at the same time, it's like I don't quite know what they were planning on doing with that.
Well, remember what Brenner explained though. For the past 2 years in Hawkins, every time a gate opened, it was Vecna trying to break the dam. Right? So there were little cracks emerging. Right? With enough cracks, 4 big explosions, basically, which is what those deaths were. The whole dam breaks, crashes through, it floods the city, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the explanation there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, kind of interesting how the number 4 has been a prominent theme throughout the season. I mean, not just the fact that it's the 4th season, but yeah.
Well, I wonder if that specifically has any meaning for season 5, if they're going to, how far down the rabbit hole of lore they're going to go. Are we going to go fully to the bottom of the iceberg, if you will, on this one? What was it? But the thing with Max though is like when she woke up and she's with Lucas and she's like, I can't see, and and then she just like slowly dies. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, they fucking killed her. Cause like, I didn't see that was going to happen. I was actually really impressed.
I was shocked. I really thought, well, that's the thing where like, I want to get into when it comes to Max, cause she did die. She died. That's why the gates opened, because clinically she died. It was just the 11 restarted her heart.
And technically brain dead. Yeah.
Yeah, she was brain dead. Her heart stopped. She was dead for like a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, though, right? When we get to the very end, where we do the time jump to 2 days later, we skip ahead. She's kind of still dead. She's just in a coma, and like if you notice, when 11 went into her mind or went into that whole thing, she's not there. Like,
because she's still with
again, brain
Vecna.
dead. Yeah,
She's still with Vecna because Vecna kept all the people with him.
I guess so, but at that point, what's stopping Vecna from killing her? Right?
I don't know. We won't.
But the other thing is too, it's like I wonder if it's kind of going to be like that oh shit kind of lesson moment for 11, to where she tried interfering to save her friend, but she's never going to be the same, right? Like she's going to be, you know, blind the rest of her life. Her body's contorted and all messed up. She probably can't use her arms or legs the same way ever again.
She'll be fine. She'll be through.
I really think that like Max is not going to come back the same person, right? I think 11 kind of overstepped her bounds a bit, and that's kind of be like the lesson of it all. Like you saved her life, but she's never going to be the same person that she was.
I think we're going to get a bit more of a happy fantasy ending with that one. To be fair, I think it's going to be.
We'll see, but
I mean,
don't
like,
see how she comes back.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, right? Just to kind of compare it to another franchise, in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Hermione literally gets turned to stone.
That's
literally turned to stone,
okay,
and then is brought back to life without any. But she's also younger. She's a teenager.
There was no consequences. Like Hermione turned to stone, but it's not like she had permanent physical ailments or like.
Well, they probably had a potion for that. 11
that's Harry Potter.
11 has telekinetic abilities and can do shit.
Max is
I'm just telling you, it's like I think you're
not going to be the same.
If Dr. Brenner could be killed by the Demogorgon and then come back, a couple seasons later, then anything can happen. It's movie logic.
But Brenner's supposed death in season 1 was off screen. This was on screen. Mm-hmm. We saw what happened to her.
Yep. So, William here says, Max is still alive. The gates were supposed to do much more damage than that. Her resurrections halted it. Vecna doesn't have her. Okay. She has compound fractures. Yeah. We fix them every day. I mean, yeah.
So on the off chance that if for some reason Max wakes up from her coma and her bones are magically healed, she's still gonna have a hard time walking, and she's probably gonna suffer some form of brain damage as she gets out of it. I mean, she might recover it, but yeah, she's not going to be 100% the same, but she's still going to be in recovery.
Well, I mean, look, if she's in a coma for like longer than a month, her bones will be healed. So, because that's about how long it takes for a broken bone to heal. And so,
doesn't it take 6 weeks for bones to heal?
I broke my left arm twice in one summer. And it took about I was a month in a cast. So, and then
what else really messed up though? This is my prediction. If Max is indeed alive and she comes back in season 5, I'm willing to put down like $10 that she doesn't have any of her memories.
Maybe.
Most likely.
Like, I mean, she doesn't remember who Lucas is. She doesn't remember who any of them are. Maybe she has like a vague idea, but I think specifically Lucas, like she's not gonna remember him at all.
She's gonna forget him until he kisses her at the end, and then like all the memories are gonna come flooding back. Because that's just a total movie ending scenario right there. That's like it's just gonna be because that's her happy moment is he was there. And that's when they kiss for the first time. That was her happy moment. So that's going to be what she's going to, it's going to flood everything, bring it all back and shit.
Yeah. And sorry.
Shiftingism might be right. It might be right. Time travel fixes everything.
Please, no time travel. I don't want time travel, please. I'm really like time travel. I feel like it's not been used very well recently in a lot of stories. I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Just like I don't need time travel and everything.
Yeah, and I guess aside from like maybe Lucas kissing Max to have her memories come back. There's also music. I think I read there are some studies that that music also helps the memory loss.
Okay. I mean, Kate Bush is probably like, yes, please.
Play more of my songs.
Yeah. What's her other favorite hit? I'm sure, yeah, that's going to be a whole thing. If you notice at the end there, Lucas was reading her Stephen King's Needful Things.
Actually, it was the Talisman.
Was it? Oh, it was a Talisman. Thank you. I don't know why I thought Needful Things, but yeah, he was reading her a Stephen King book. So I mean, that's kind of up Max's alley. So what is that book about, though? What is the Talisman about?
Time to go to Google.
Yeah, what is the Talisman?
A novel by Peter Straub and Stephen King. So it's a double header.
Yeah,
it's a 1984 fantasy novel. It's about...
All right, 12-year-old Jack Sawyer embarks on an epic quest to walk from the seacoast of New Hampshire to the California coast to find the talisman that will save his dying mother's life.
There you go.
So in season 5, Lucas will need to find something that will save Max, that will bring Max back.
Makes sense.
That to me is what they're setting up for season 5. Because like Sean Levy said,
nothing's ever by an accident.
Nothing in the show is by accident. So they clearly Fast and Furious 7, kinda. Anyway, Kate Bush should have stayed for Cotton. That is harsh.
That's very
I like the song. I will admit though, the chorus of the song is way better than the actual the lyrics and stuff. But it's a good track. It's a good track. So I mean, obviously, we don't know where. Is there anyone we forgot about yet?
Jason died.
Oh,
Jason got killed. He got.
His death was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool, but you notice how it was like so underplayed. Like it was an afterthought, not like an afterthought, but it was in the background because so much. Was
just got in the way. Yeah,
he just got in the way. He was literally just laying there, and his body got split in half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's cool. I thought that was great.
It was cool. It's just like they didn't make a big deal out of it, showing him die on screen and it was like a background thing.
Oh yeah, well, totally fine in my opinion. I thought that.
I'm fine with that. I was shocked they didn't make a bigger deal out of it, showing him say, "Ha ha ha, I'm gonna shoot you, Sinclair." Then he falls in the hole or something.
Yeah, I think that. Well, I feel that would have maybe been a bit too much.
Right.
I get that, but I feel like the way this was is he was beaten, he was knocked down, defeated, and then the gate opened and it just split him in two, and it's like, well, shit.
Very violent way for that character to go out too, because you see his rib cage exposed. He just melts.
Yeah, and his face is like But apparently, 22 people had reportedly died in the earthquake. So that's what they had said there at the end. And then, obviously, with the 11 and
22 people, but they also said hundreds were still missing.
Yeah,
so they think the death
and more to come. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot that happens with that. Obviously, with 11 and everybody going back to the old cabin and cleaning it out, and Hopper and Joyce showing up there kind of makes for a happy ending on that front.
Right. Here's a question though: will Hopper go back to being the police chief? Will he take over, or will he just be in hiding?
No, because the other police chief didn't do anything wrong. That guy was trying.
Will he give up his position back to Hopper? Though is my question.
No, because I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
So what's Hopper gonna do? Is he just not gonna be a police chief anymore, or is he just gonna?
He's just gonna probably have a quiet life with Joyce, probably back in California.
Really, you don't think he's gonna go? They're not gonna all stay in Hawkins?
Why they have a house in California? Well, the house in California is shot to shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's destroyed. The government's all over there.
Imagine that was
remember at the very end they go back to the cabin because the government still wants 11, so now she has to go back into hiding.
Sure. What was really funny about that too is no one explained to Joyce that the house was shot up in California.
Oh right, it's they're all standing there all happy. It's oh boys, did you leave someone in charge of the house? Is the house okay? It's
yeah. Oh yeah. There's a shitload of dead soldiers and a lot of broken dishes. You're going to find bullet holes in a lot of. Yeah, it's entirely possible the house at this point has just been absolutely eviscerated. And then they're going to have to they should have told that agent lady too. Hey, your buddy, who was like protecting us. Like, yeah, he dead, but we'll tell you where he's buried. You know, I mean, like,
they'll just tell him, like, the family of that agent's gonna come back and be like, what happened to him? Just go out into the middle of the California desert. You're gonna see a pizza box cross with like a writing saying FBI dude. That's where he's at.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. He wasn't buried by top-notch body disposal specialists. He was definitely just left out there. We do have a $5 super chat here from Revan. Thank you, buddy. It says, I don't see a happy ending for Max. She may be a Star Wars Force Ghost in Guide 11 somehow. I also see someone maybe having to kill Max to close the gates. Oh, yeah.
Like pull the plug on her. That'd be depressing.
That would be, very depressing. At this point, I kind of want season 5 to go full on season 5 of Breaking Bad. You know, I wanted to go full, just dark and bleak and be like, well, we're all fucked. Obviously, though, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, a couple, because I do have to start winding it down because I have to start getting to bed. But, you know, according like to Steve Harrington, you know, at the end of this one, they go to the.
He lived.
He did live.
Shocked.
He did live, yeah.
But what's going on with him and Nancy? Because there's clearly something there.
Season 5 set up right there. There's still tension. At the very end, Jonathan kind of awkwardly asks Nancy if they're still okay. I think Nancy and Jonathan are going to stay together, but it's just now there's that doubt where it's like Nancy's seen how much Steve has grown as a person, right? Meanwhile, Jonathan's still kind of like discovering who he wants to be and who he is, but also he's still not being truthful with Nancy about the college thing either. He doesn't want to have to admit to her that he doesn't want to go there or he's not going to get in there because they're just on 2 different paths right now, you know? But Steve is also on a different path too. It's not like he's going to go to like some fancy college and like become a reporter or anything like that either. It's like he's not that kind of guy either, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely have. You know, I think they've kind of run their course with the Byers family just in general. You know,
I do think Will and Jonathan have a bigger role next season. I mean, that's my thing. I hate the love triangle trope, like anime guys saying, but I feel like that's what we're in for next season. I hope that's not the case, though. I hope it's more so about Nancy and Jonathan growing closer, maybe Steve finding somebody else and getting a happy ending, or either Steve or, which is the more likely route, which I don't like as much. One of them dies and basically gets to be with Nancy, which I'm like
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like Pearl Harbor, where like, you know, Josh Hartnett dies, but Ben Affleck still gets Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah, it's just like,
you know. Well,
and Hartnett's kid, yeah.
Yeah, and Hartnett's kid.
I'd rather they not do that though, because this is so obvious.
I hope not. It's kind of tropey. But at the same time, I mean, like, at least I agree with you about the love triangle. Like, that was one of my biggest complaints with like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. It was like, you know, Rey, Finn,
yeah,
and Kylo. But then not only that though, they also tried to almost establish like Poe, Finn, and Rey, and Poe, Kylo, and Rey.
Poe never met any of them, which is like what?
Poe did. Poe met Finn, and then
I meant Poe's never really had that kind of. Back and forth with Rey before.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, that was at the end of The Last Jedi when it's like, oh, hey, I'm, you know,
first time, yeah.
Which is like, everyone's like, what? But they were also back at the base at the end of the last movie. They would have met.
It's whatever. It's not about The Last
It was
Jedi.
bad writing, bad storytelling.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of romances, let's talk about Robin's maybe girlfriend, not really, but possibly.
Yeah. No, I was gonna bring that up too because I love that moment too because when they went to the gun shop, she was there buying guns, and that girl from band had a boyfriend who came out of town to go see her, and like it's just that awkward moment. It's like, Robin's poor heart got broken. The girl she liked has a guy, and she's not gay, right? There's no possible way, right? And then at the very end, when like they're making the sandwiches, like she talks just like Robin, you know. And I thought that was actually really kind of cute, where it's like she talks so fast and she kind of says something similar to what Robin told Steve. And Steve's reaction was so funny. He's just looking at her, shaking his head, like, "God damn it, Robin got somebody. Robin has a chance, and I don't."
I'm entirely. I don't know. Like, I did not. I know that's the actress from Anne with an E. And on Netflix and whatnot. I just found that storyline to be so like, okay, you know, like she was good. They're very similar together. And I love Robin's energy and I want Robin to be happy, obviously. But I just was like, okay. You know, but I know we are going to get more of, what's her name, Vicky?
I think, Vicky. I mean, we only saw her in the first episode, and the episode we just saw in the gun shop and at the very end. So she's not really a character we've gotten to know yet, right?
Sure.
We've heard about her.
But she did say, the actress did say that she'll be in more of her in season 5.
Which makes sense, right?
So yeah, it's like, I mean, obviously that makes a lot of sense. I mean, so I guess as now that Hawkins is broken wide open and everything's kind of gone to shit, but it still has a bit of a happy ending for everybody involved, which is very odd.
Well, it's somewhat of a happy ending, but
bittersweet.
It's bittersweet because they still lost so much. Even Mike says, like, we've never lost like this before, because they did lose. They lost Eddie. They basically lost Max for the time being, and Hawkins got blown up. Not completely blown up, but it did get a lot of destruction. You notice too, everybody's leaving Hawkins. Pretty much everybody's either packing up or moving. Everyone's like ditching town, like, screw this, we're out of here, right? So it's like, less people are going to be in Hawkins now. Are the kids even going to have a school to go to? Like, is there even what the hell do they do now, right? Because like, I know they've been saying there's going to be a time jump for the next season, but how realistically much of a time jump are we going to get? Because
I mean, the kids are all like, Sadie Sink is like, she's 20 in real life. Millie Bobby Brown just turned 18. I think Dustin is like 21 or something.
They're all at least like 18 to 20. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Steve Harrington is like 28. Joe Keely, whatever his name is, Healy, whatever. Keely is like Kiri. That's it. He's like 28, 29.
There's no way he's that old. He looks like he's like 25.
Hold on. How old? How old is he? I could have sworn he's like up there.
There's no way he's that old.
Joe Keery age, he's 30.
Oh, he doesn't even look 30. What the hell?
Natalia, and then sorry. So Dustin is 19 in real life. Natalia, Nancy is 27 in real life.
Okay.
And she looks 20. She does.
They all look great for their age. That's how old they are. Like, they look like they're early 20s. Like, they don't even look that old.
Let's see here. Charlie Heaton is, how old is he? He's 28. So Jonathan's 28.
Old's Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawke, I think is.
Oh, she's 23.
She's 23.
Okay.
And everything. So I mean, like, everyone's getting old.
Ben Wolfhard, he is 19. Okay, so they're all about like 19 to 20. Right. Like the main kids are all 19 to 20.
Even Eddie Munson is 29 years old. The actor is 29 years old.
There's no way he's 29. What the hell, man?
I mean, which kind of makes sense. He's kind of a,
well,
kind of held back.
Yeah, he's been held back multiple years. Yeah. He's meant to be older. Yeah, but still, that's crazy.
I know. It's pretty funny. Isn't it?
Maya Hawke turns 24 next week. Yeah.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay. So I mean, like, obviously, there's like these actors are getting a little bit on the older side, right? Like Eduardo Franco played Argyle. He is 27. So everyone is really really older.
They don't seem that older, so it's like the main kids feel older because we've noticed them when like they were like really little, right? So it's more noticeable that they've grown up. But everybody else like has stayed around that same age range, so they don't feel like they've gotten that much older, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, here's a quick question: is like I've noticed that the mom, right? The Mikey and Nancy's mom.
Mike's mom, yeah.
Right. So it's like Karen Wheeler. She got a character poster for this season.
Just because she's a fan favorite with the moms.
It's got to be that because
well, plus too, she's somewhat of a recognizable actress too, but she had like no role this season whatsoever.
No.
Well, I mean, her role in season 3 was more or less like I'm gonna fuck Billy.
It's like I'm having an affair with this boy.
Yeah,
this boy wants to fuck me, and I'm gonna let him.
I mean, more or less, that was kind of the whole point.
Right. But also, too, is a nice character moment where even though she's in like this terrible marriage with that douchey dad, it's like he still loves us. I mean, he's kind of a douche, but he does care about us, right? So I know people don't like Mike's dad. He's meant more to be like that comedic relief, sort of. He's a douchey comedic relief. Like, he's a jerk, but it's like he still loves his family. I mean, That's the other thing too. When we get into the final season, how much more involved are the parents going to be?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to parents the older that they get. Well, later on down the road, I have no idea. But I think again, it's kind of like the whatever's going to happen with Joyce and Hopper, whatever's going to happen with the military, with Owens and his side of things.
Yeah,
and
Sullivan. Yeah, the General Sullivan's definitely coming back.
Well, he's now like because remember there's multiple.
There's always
villains.
a ground villain. There's always the ground.
Yeah,
villain.
There's a human villain, and then there's the upside down villain. So it's Vecna.
So my guess is that next season it's Vecna and Sullivan.
Yeah, and we know that he's willing to do whatever. So I mean, obviously Hopper's gonna have to fight him in order to save 11. That's my take on that one, and that's gonna be a big part.
Yeah, I thought they would save Brenner for the final season, but again, he's gone now, so it's like just gonna be, I guess.
Well, he served his purpose. He served his purpose.
His purpose was. I just thought he would live on to be in the final season, But
yeah.
No. He wasn't a general. He was an LTC.
What?
I don't know. That's what William said. LTC.
I don't know. He was an 05. What? I don't know what William is saying.
Oh, Lieutenant Colonel.
Oh, sorry. I said Mike's mom is a MILF. That's what I found from William right there. Now we're on the same page, buddy.
Where the hell did that come from? Okay.
Talking about a hot middle-aged MILF, man. That's how this works. So Shifty Gizm here says Brenner will be back if they do time travel. That is true.
Stop talking about time travel. I don't want time travel.
Or at least in another flashback.
Yeah, I'm sure we will learn more about season 5 before the end of the year. I think they're going to start filming it before the end of the year. I think they have to.
I think it's going to be like 2024.
No, it's going to be I think it's going to be 2020. I think it's going to be end of 2023 or Halloween 2023.
I'll be shocked if it is. I really will.
I have a feeling that they're going to have to get it out a lot faster.
I'm thinking it's going to be summer 2024. But I hope you're right.
Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be July 4th weekend.
Landis, we have no clue. I think we all agree that we think Owens is still alive, but they kind of left that open too.
Yeah, they did. We have no idea how that's going to turn out, but we'll have to again. Season 5 will be coming up here.
Season 5 is going to be the war season. That's like everybody fighting, going to war against the army of Demogorgons and all that, Demodogs and Vecna and all that. So
yeah, well,
next season is going to be very action packed for sure.
Well, Williams says here, season 5 was rumored to take place in the 90s. That's still 4 years away, right? That's still 4 years.
There's no way they do a 4-year time.
Yeah, that jump is way too, I mean, because there's how are they going to explain what happened to the city? Sure, they said it was an earthquake, it destroyed. That's how the media is playing it.
But at the very end, the final shot is like Winter coming to Hawkins because the Upside Down started to merge a little bit.
Yeah, so obviously it's they can't wait that long. So I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how much of a time jump you can do realistically with that kind of ending.
Yeah, maybe like 6 months or something.
Yeah,
maybe like a year at the most. But even then, if so much happens in a year, you're going to go take a couple episodes to explain. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, they would at least match up to their current ages if they go with the 90s approach.
They would be better for that, yeah. But I just don't see that really happening.
No.
I think it's like at most maybe like 87, maybe at most a year to get us
2
over.
2 years, maybe. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in terms of the 80s tropes that we've seen so far, so what do you think they might bring up, like movie reference wise? Like if they go to let's say, like 1988, like the first movie. Predator, yeah. I
think Predator is going to play a part in this, at least in regards to like sci-fi referencing,
Yeah, or maybe if they go in the possession route, maybe Child's Play, or
maybe. They are like the thing is, if I recall, they wrote season 5 already.
Yeah, I think they wrote season 4 and 5 back to back. Is like one big thing
because they went. Because they went back and they rewrote like season 4 like at the start of the pandemic or something, and again like there's also been some talk that apparently they've already shot some footage for season 5, which probably just means flashbacks. So And that probably would be stuff with Brenner, or maybe
probably Matthew Modine, some final stuff with him, maybe,
or maybe even Eddie Munson himself. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, they could have shot some with Joe Quinn as Eddie before they wrapped for season 5. That's certainly possible. I mean, the other thing is too, are they going to bring back those people for season 5? The kids from Chicago, the other
6 will make an appearance. Yeah,
there's no way they have to do something with 6 because they left that door open for so long. It's there's no way they don't address it.
Yeah, they've already introduced them. They might as well use them. So
yeah, and
hopefully use better than season 2. So.
well, it's not going to be like 11 going to find yourself, but they could be setting up for some.
Well, Liam brings up a good point too. I mean, is it just Hawkins as ground zero? Is the entire world being impacted by this? I want to say it's just going to be Hawkins, but the rest of the world's aware of what's going on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I did see a comment early on about whether or not the season 5 could mimic the events of Red Dawn.
Oh, really? Like the whole world's going fighting against the Upside Down?
No, Red Dawn was just about America being overtaken by Russians and Cubans. And then it was all about the small town in Colorado, I think. Where the Wolverines fight back. Yeah. Not the 2009 Chris Hemsworth movie. The original 80s film with Charlie Sheen and Patrick Swayze and Leah Thompson and Jennifer Grey. You got to watch it, RJ.
I know. I watched it a long time ago, but I don't remember much of it.
I haven't seen the Chris Hemsworth remake of it, but I was a little pissed off that they changed it to North Koreans from the Chinese. And I'm like, that doesn't make any logistical sense. Sure, the Russians and the Cubans working together to take over America doesn't make any logistical sense either, but still. Now, but I do wonder if we are going to see something again with the Upside Down popping up in other cities. Now that the crust has been cracked, is Vecna going to try to because he's got to regain some strength, right? So he's got to clearly, recoup a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of downtime.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah. So we'll see. But on that note, everybody, I do have I gotta start winding things down to get myself to bed. So I appreciate everyone coming in. What are your guys' final thoughts on season 4?
Like I said earlier, probably my favorite season since the first one. I thought it was absolutely tremendous. Like I said, I think this was just amazing television. I mean, again, just the emotions it got out of me. I mean, it was just damn good television. I mean, I cannot wait for season 5. I need it ASAP. I'll be patient though. Listen, if it's as good as season 4 was, which I think was the best season since the first, I will wait however long I need to. But this was just amazing all around. Fantastic performances, just great action, character work as always. Yeah, it was just really damn good.
Yeah, this season was definitely an improvement, compared to season 3. It definitely advanced the story a little bit. They introduced a villain, and there was a lot of character developments that really pushed it in different directions, finding more about not only Vecna but also with 11 and her repressed memories, so to speak. Yeah, and some of the other characters, like definitely with Dr. Brenner, having a more quote unquote supportive role in this season, even though he's still kind of eh. But other than that, yeah, amazing season.
I feel very similar. I thought the whole thing was paced really well. I thought it was directed very well. And I'm very happy with the way it turned out. I feel like we got something that was worth the wait as fans of the show. And I'm very excited to see where things go next. I'm hoping in the meantime we get teases that kind of expand upon the lore and start really building towards the finale whenever it happens. So, but all right, everybody, next thank you all.
It's gonna be interesting, man.
It's gonna be good. If you guys haven't already,
we're in the end game, bro.
Yeah, we're in the end game now.
It's the final Final countdown.
Anyway, thank you, everybody. Be sure to hit the like if you haven't already and subscribe if you're new. I won't be on tomorrow night because it's a holiday and I'm going to chill out. And I'll be back on Tuesday with another episode of Hollywood After Dark. We'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great one and peace out.